Ho, 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 motherfuckers. It is I, everyone's favorite jack of all trades, with foul mouth, Commodore Urban, and we are getting very fucking close to Christmas. Yeah, I can't believe it's just a few days away, and shit, it's been really, really fucking crazy, guys. I mean, I've been, working my fucking balls off and shit, helping, get presents and fucking wrap presents and other shit. And at the same time, I've just been really depressed as fuck. So, today is going to be the pre-Christmas 2020 special, where I will share with you guys a Christmas memory from my past, which will probably not be a happy Christmas memory, but I said I would talk about this. In my last video, I said I'd tell more about why I'm depressed as fuck anyway, but before I begin, I just want to say hi to all the new subscribers and to all of the regular viewers. I'm glad you're here. I wish this was going to be a happier video, but 2020 has just been a shit show anyway, so I figured I'd tell you guys why the holidays kind of put me in a really kind of in the shitter anyway. And Jerry, if you're watching, I know you probably will be, buddy. I'm actually working on a special drawing for you. She's not done yet, but when she's finished, she will be out of this world. That's a hint. So, anyway, welcome to the pre-Christmas 2020 special. Now, people are like, Commodore, why are you always so fucking gloomy around Christmas time? Are you Ebenezer Scrooge? No. Are you the Grinch? No. But I can relate with the Grinch. He had nobody to celebrate Christmas with when he was younger, so I understand why he didn't like it. But no. I'll tell you the story about it. It happened many, many, many years ago. It was 2002. I was 11 years old, and it was actually December 2nd. I remember it was hang on a moment. Now, December 1st. December the 1st of 2002 will be a day I will never forget. My mother, and I'm not talking about my mother, now this is my biological mother, one who gave birth to me, who loved me for 11 years until she, she had been sick for several days. And I even remember Thanksgiving, she was really sick, and I tried helping her and stuff, and she tried to keep a brave face, but I knew something was just off, and if you guys want to know, my mother's name was Renelle Urban, Renelle, and she was about 40 some odd years old at the time, and I was 11. She had me when she had me when she was really, she had me late in her life. But anyway, it was early morning, it was December the 1st, and I was still up. I was watching cartoons on Boomerang. That's the vintage cartoon channel, by the way, if you guys didn't fucking know. But, I remember she walked out the bedroom door or whatever, and she was like, she asked if I could sit on the couch, because I built a giant fort on the couch. I said, sure. So I knocked down this fort onto the floor to make room for her, and she, walking across the floor, and halfway she fell. She fell to the floor. Oh God. I could still see it in my head, and oh my God. She fell to the floor, gasping for air, saying, help me out, help me up. I can't breathe. And I was only 11 years old, and I couldn't get her up. So I remembered the next thing. I remembered in an emergency to call 911. And so I called 911. And the dispatcher was like, 911, what's your emergency? And I said, my mom's on the floor. She can't breathe. I can't get her up. I need help. And they asked me where we were, and I told them where we lived at the time, we lived in Belleville, Indiana at the time, which was on the outskirts of Plainfield, but anyway. And I remembered my friend, who was a next door neighbor, came over, and I remember neighbors across the street came over, and then my Aunt Estelle, which was my mom's sister, she came, and it was crazy. I tried getting her up. I tried getting her up. But I remember just seeing ambulance lights. They didn't want me inside the house. I remembered seeing ambulance lights, and I just seen them taking off, and I remembered going with my Aunt Estelle. I remembered we went to the hospital. We were in this waiting room. And then out of nowhere, this nurse came in and said, your mother's dead. And I couldn't comprehend. What? My mother's dead? And then the doctor came and heard, and of course Pete didn't like the way she, oh God, I'm sorry. He didn't like the way that she told it, but anyway, he explained that they tried everything, but she died in the hospital. Cardiac arrest. She died from a heart attack. I remember the paramedics and stuff coming and saying, you were a very brave young man. To God help. And I thought to myself, how was I brave? My mom's gone. I was 11 years old. I was 11 years old, for Christ's sake. And she died. And then I remember the doctors saying, we could give you a choice. You could come back and see her, or just remember how she was. And I didn't want to, I remember saying I didn't want to see her like that. I remember somebody telling me they did see her like that. My Aunt Estelle went back there and saw her, and she said, you didn't want to see that, Alan. They had all these tubes and stuff. I remembered the funeral and the show, and I remember going up to the casket and seeing her laying in the casket, but it looks like my mom at all. It didn't even look like her at all. The thing I remember so vividly was in the lining of the casket, there was a picture right there that they had placed in there with her. It was a picture of me. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't go to the funeral. They said I shouldn't, because they thought I would have gone crazy seeing her get lowered in that hole. And I remembered I cried for days. I cried for weeks. I even was crying Christmas Day. I remember that very first Christmas without her. Everybody tried to be nice. They bought me stuff that I liked, but I didn't give a fuck about the presents. All I wanted was my mom back. That's all I wanted was my mother back. But I always kept thinking to myself, this is just a dream, it's just a dream, it's just a dream. I'm sorry, guys, it's just... I'm sorry, guys. I told you this wasn't gonna be a good one. I'm sorry, guys. I told you this wasn't gonna be a fucking good one. I remember my dad saying, "It's alright, son. If your mom could, she would be here with you." And people say, "Oh, it gets better as time goes on." Bullshit. It does. I'm 29 years old.